It's Monday morning, your alarm bell is ringing, and you are in your bed in a dilemma whether to wake up or not. You have a deep sense of regret within you. Why? Because you haven't completed the tasks which you had planned to complete in your weekend. Most of us have been through this situation where we postpone things, we put off our responsibilities, we often take it as granted, we put our duties as a secondary task, whereas focusing on our pleasure and happiness becomes the primary task. My dear friends, this is procrastination, a specific trait of human beings which has been predominant over man throughout ages, perhaps even before the invention of computers and internet. I feel that we procrastinate because having evolved from mammals, we have that rudimentary urge for pleasure and survival. So, whenever we have a hard or difficult or a boring job at hand, we tend to go towards what gives us more happiness or pleasure instantaneously. So, what happens? We, take that responsibility for granted, and we go for other things like partying or movies, watching series, listening to songs, watching YouTube videos, watching comedy vines, drinking, partying. All these things are there. But when you consider procrastination, right, even though people say it is a very bad thing, I don't feel so. Let me tell you why. Procrastination demands the very best of you. Um, let us say you have around 10 units of time. Let it be 10 hours or 10 days. So you have 10 units of time, and you have, let us say, a particular task to do to complete in these 10 units of time. But having known humans, ourselves or our friends or our colleagues, we know that we usually don't start on the first time. The urge to begin the task when this much huge unit of time is given usually begins at the middle. Let us say around the fifth unit of time, which may be the fifth hour or the fifth day, somewhere in the middle. You have that idea to start, but you don't actually start. That's the catchy thing. If I take myself as an example, if I have been given 10 days to complete around 5 pages of my assignment, I would probably start off on the 8th day or ninth or in the midnight before the submission day. But one thing I've observed in myself or in my other friends and colleagues is that whenever you have less amount of time and huge task, right, you come up with brilliant ideas, creative ideas which have not striked upon your mind before that. You come up with ways of dealing with it in a more suitable manner, a perfect manner. You come up with ways in which you try to make it attractive, productive, beautiful as possible. Because what happens when you procrastinate is that there is a kind of anxiety and stress induced in you. So when you have less amount of time, your mind, it is bothered, sort of bothered, and it wants to come up with coping mechanisms to deal with the issue at hand. So it comes up with ways to impress the reader or evaluator or your boss in a manner that makes the evaluator think that you have done a wonderful job. So what does your mind do? It makes you search or Google for creative things, come up with beautiful ideas, beautiful designs on the border, amazing ways of completing the project. It makes you work in a manner, it pushes you, because one of my teachers used to say, don't run in the last minute, start walking from the first. But we never do it, right? We always like to run in the last minute. So procrastination does this thing where you are made to run in the last minute. It's like placing yourself on fire. um, there was a very funny anecdote I would like to narrate. When I was in my school, there was one particular teacher. He used to tell this thing: um, a rocket flies because you fire its ass up. So whenever there is so much heat, there is so much pressure in the last moment, that is when we tend to give the best of us. I've observed this every time. Every time when I've tried to procrastinate, it always brought out the best version, the best work out of me. Be it assignments, be it speeches, be it dance or music or poetry or content, photo editing, any area of endeavor which I have stepped into, and I've procrastinated about 90% of the time. And always, without any exception, it brought the best out of me. It is a very great thing, guys, according to me, because it brings out a different aspect of you which you yourself don't know. The ideas, right? It seems to crop out of nowhere. Procrastination, a very great thing. For example, if you consider this particular video, I planned to start my YouTube channel about an year and a half ago, but here I am sitting here speaking about procrastination. I never thought I would start off with procrastination, but here I am today. And if I'm speaking about today, I planned to shoot this video morning itself, but now it's sunset, the sun is setting, you can see the rays on my face. If you want, you yourself analyze. Whenever you have got the chance to procrastinate and you procrastinated, you look back and see in your life, whenever you procrastinated and performed the task, you have always evolved out with flying colors.